My dad sold the family business to me without knowing it. When I told him at Thanksgiving, nobody was laughing anymore. I've been the family disappointment since I was 14. My older brother Kevin was the athlete, my sister Diana was the beauty queen, and I was just the quiet kid who liked numbers. Dad ran a manufacturing company that his father built from nothing. Every Sunday dinner, he'd talk about legacy and how Kevin would take over someday. I'd sit there pushing food around my plate while everyone planned a future that didn't include me. When I graduated high school, Dad sat me down in his office. Your brother and sister have real potential. I'm paying for their college. You can figure it out yourself. I worked 3 jobs through community college, then transferred to state school on academic scholarships. I studied finance and accounting while Kevin partied through a business degree Dad paid for. Diana got a communications degree and immediately moved back home rent-free. After graduation, I got a job at an investment firm making $42,000 a year. Nobody in my family cared. Kevin joined Dad's company as vice president of operations, despite having 0 experience. Diana became director of marketing, which meant she posted on Instagram twice a week. I worked 80-hour weeks, learned everything I could, made connections nobody knew about. By 28, I'd saved enough to start my own investment company. I called it Everest Holdings. Nothing fancy, just me and 2 partners working out of a tiny office. We focused on acquiring struggling manufacturing companies and turning them around. I knew manufacturing. I'd grown up listening to Dad talk about it even when he thought I wasn't paying attention. 5 years later, Everest Holdings had acquired 14 companies and was worth over $200 million. I never told my family. They never asked what I did for work anyway. Every holiday, they'd talk about Kevin's brilliant leadership and Diana's creative vision while I sat quietly eating turkey. Last spring, I heard through industry contacts that Dad's company was struggling. Kevin had made a series of terrible decisions. He'd expanded too fast, took on bad debt, lost 3 major clients because he missed delivery deadlines. The company that took my grandfather 40 years to build was bleeding money. In June, Dad hired a broker to find a contact at Everest Holdings because we had a reputation for acquiring manufacturing companies. I told my partners I wanted to handle this one personally. We spent 4 months negotiating through lawyers and intermediaries. Dad never knew who he was dealing with. He just saw the Everest Holdings name and the $50 million offer. It was a fair price, maybe even generous considering the debt we'd be taking on. Last Thursday was Thanksgiving. I drove to my parents' house in the same Honda I've had for 8 years. I don't like showing off. Kevin pulled up in a BMW that Dad bought him. Diana arrived in a Mercedes, also from Dad. At dinner, Dad stood up with his wine glass like he always does when he has an announcement. I have wonderful news. I've sold the company. The whole room went quiet, then erupted. Kevin looked confused. What do you mean sold? I thought I was taking over. Dad smiled. Son, you've done your best, but it's time to be honest. The company needs professional management. I found a buyer who'll keep things running. Diana leaned forward. How much? $50 million, Dad said proudly. Mom gasped. Kevin's face went through about 6 expressions. Diana actually clapped her hands. Dad continued. Your mother and I have decided to keep the money for our retirement and travel. You kids have had plenty of advantages. It's time you stood on your own. Kevin's face turned red. You're cutting us off? You said the company was my inheritance. I said it might be your inheritance if you proved yourself. You didn't. The company would have bankrupted us in 2 years with your leadership. Kevin slammed his fist on the table. This is insane. Who even bought it? Some corporate vulture who doesn't care about our family legacy? Dad nodded. Everest Holdings. Solid company with a good track record. They're paying cash and keeping most of the employees.